Hello, Emery's Crime here, your fellow crime, thriller and mystery book lover. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video consists of my December reading wrap-up, and I have 9 books to go through with you today. I have one, Not Right Now, which I'll go into in a bit, and then I have 8 other books which I've finished, and these are a mixture of thriller books, Christmas thriller novellas, and also a couple of books which shocked me that not only did I read them, but I didn't hate them. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to touch upon a couple of books which are going to be my January TBR. As with all my reading wrap-ups, I'm going to start with my least favourite and work my way up and end on a high with my favourite book, but the real question is, did any of my December reads score 5 stars out of 5? Starting off with my Not Right Now, or NRN, and that is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harmon. What I mean by an NRN is it's the right book but the wrong time. I was told that this book is best to go into it blind, so I'm not going to delve too much into the plot. And the reason for me it was Not Right Now was I started to do this on audio. I love audiobooks and I always listen to them in the gym or when I'm driving. However, I'm doing none of those really at the moment. I thought audiobooks would be the way forward when it comes to night feeds with the little man. However, I just feel I'm concentrating too much on him and I just can't pay attention to the audio. Hence why this is a Not Right Now, so I'm definitely going to try it again, but I think I'm going to try and read it physically. My least favourite book which I read from start to finish was The Gift by Freida McFadden. This is her Christmas novella. The main character is recently married and she is broke. However, she finds out the husband has got her a Christmas gift, so she is now on the hunt for the perfect gift for their first Christmas together as a married couple. Novellas are not my favourite because I do find that they're lacking in plot and character development, and this was a really short novella. It was less than 50 pages, I believe. And because it was less than 50 pages, there isn't really a whole lot I can say about it, apart from the fact that, excuse my language, but I just thought it was a bit shit. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars out of 5, which is me being generous. Next is No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is a book I've had on my TBR for months, maybe even years, because I hear people rave about it all the time. And what I didn't realise about No Exit is technically it's a Christmas thriller because it's set across the Christmas period. However, when I read it, I kind of felt it was more of a Die Hard situation. It wasn't mega Christmassy, it just happened to be set around Christmas. Main character Darby Thorne is on her way to see her mum to say goodbye because her mum is end of life. She ends up getting trapped in a service station because there's a blizzard and the weather is just too bad for her to drive. She's trapped there with 4 other people, there's no cell reception, the whole thing is just a bit of a disaster. While outside trying to find cell reception, she finds that a little girl is being held captive in a van belonging to one of the people who she's trapped with in this service station. I have heard so many incredible rave reviews about this book, so I went into this with extremely high expectations. However, unfortunately, it just wasn't for me. I thought it started off really well, and then I just felt the more I read on, the more it dragged, and I just wanted it to be over, and I also felt it was missing some good twists towards the end. So I gave it 3 stars out of 5. I'm glad I read it, but it didn't blow me away. It wasn't really my cup of tea. If you've been following me for a while, my next read will shock you because I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This is a small town, grumpy sunshine romance, which is really not the kind of thing I would ever pick up. I hate romance books normally. However, it was free on Prime Reading and I was just in the mood for something light and easy. I won't delve into it too much because it's completely off brand for me, but what I will say is I thought it was tolerable. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I can see it maybe being a guilty pleasure when I need something easy. I probably will read the second book one day, maybe. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. I wouldn't usually continue on with a series when I've given book 1 3 stars. However, like I said, sometimes you just need a bit of trash. Next we have The Christmas Clue by Nicola Upson. This was mine and Michaela's in-person book club pick for December. It's a Christmas novella, so Michaela and I thought that this would be perfect for a December book club because we had a Christmas party rather than a proper book club, so we didn't spend loads of time discussing the book. The story follows the couple that invented the board game Cluedo, and one day during Christmas time they go to a hotel because they're going to run a murder mystery event. However, they end up coming across a real-life murder instead. This started off very wholesome, very cozy Christmas vibes. However, towards the end, it took a seriously unexpected dark turn, which I loved. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars out of 5. As I find with a lot of novellas, I wanted it to have a bit more meat on its bones. I think I would have preferred it more if it had been a more fleshed out, normal sized book. Next is another Christmas novella, which is The Kill Clause by Lisa Unger. I have been wanting to try this author for ages, so I thought where better to start than a Christmas novella, which was free on Amazon Prime Reading. Michaela said her Christmas book, Christmas Presents, is meant to be really good, and I was intending on reading it, but unfortunately I just ran out of time, so I'm going to save that for next Christmas. The main character in The Kill Clause is essentially an assassin, and she is given her next target around Christmas time. I think it was on Christmas Eve, I can't quite remember. However, she arrives to kill her next victim, and she is faced with a moral dilemma. I thought this was pretty good. Again, with the Christmas clue, I think I would have enjoyed it more if it had more meat on its bones. I also felt that the Christmas aspect of the book was more of an afterthought. So again, as with the Christmas clue, I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. We are 6 books down and 3 to go, so obviously the next 3 books are my absolute favourites, which I read in December. If you've made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you ever so much. I honestly appreciate it so much. If you're not already doing so and would like to hit that subscribe button, I would so appreciate it. And while I have your attention, along with being on BookTube, you can also find me on TikTok and on Instagram. The handle is both at Emery's Crime. No one is more shocked than me that my 3rd favourite book of November was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I thought the ACOTAR series as a whole was alright, but loads of people have told me that Throne of Glass is much better, but to be honest, I've been kind of hesitant because it's not really my thing. It was 99p, so I thought what the hell not, so I gave it a go, and I was nicely surprised. So I won't delve too much into the plot because again, it's kind of off-brand for me, but it follows an assassin. The romance aspect was pretty on the light side, and the story as a whole kind of gave me Hunger Games vibes, so as a thriller book lover, there was quite a lot in the story which I actually found really appealing. It's definitely a series that I'm going to continue on with when I need a palate cleanser, but I also want some action and some excitement. And don't worry, I'm keeping this channel to focus on crime, thriller and mystery books, but I just thought it was worth a mention because it was a book that I read in December. And shockingly, I gave it 4 stars out of 5. My second favourite read of December is It's Not What You Think by Claire Mackintosh. This was me giving this author a second chance because I didn't love The Last Party by her. Nadika races home one day because she is convinced that her partner is having an affair. She arrives home and there is police caution tape all around her house, and she finds that her boyfriend has been killed. I am so glad that I gave this author a second chance because I adored this. I thought it was so good. I often say that sometimes I find thriller plots can be a bit samey, but I thought that this was a bit different to the norm. It stood out. It was fast-paced, it was addictive, there were some great twists in there. I did guess some, but some left me shocked, and I gave it 4 stars out of 5, but it was a strong 4 stars out of 5. And now for my favourite book of December, which was Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden, which is her upcoming release, which is being released I think on the 27th of January. Main character Debbie's 2 daughters are being strange, her husband is acting all secretive, and to top it all off, she has lost her job. And she is now out to seek revenge on everybody that deserves it. The story was full of female rage and I loved it. It was fast-paced, highly addictive, with short punchy chapters, what you would expect from Freida's writing. What made this stand out for me compared to other Freida's books was the sense of humour. I actually found it quite funny. Main character Debbie is unhinged, she's wild, yeah, you can't help but to love her and root for her. I personally think that this is the best book that Freida has brought out in a long time, but the question is, did I give it 5 stars out of 5? Unfortunately, not quite. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5, but it was a strong 4.5. I really loved it, and if you like Freida, then I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. Before I go, I'm just going to very quickly touch upon 3 books which will definitely be included in my January TBR. I was planning on reading Next of Kin by Kia Abdullah because I was in the mood for a good legal thriller and apparently it's fantastic. However, I came across a blurb which was different to the blurb depicted on the book, and postnatal hormones said no. It's definitely a book that I want to read, but I don't think my hormones will allow me to read it in the foreseeable future. So instead, I have started Beth is Dead, which is a retelling of Little Women. I'll go into more details about the plot in my January wrap-up, but I'm about a quarter of the way through and I am loving it. I like the author's take on this retelling. I'm then about to start Black Summer by M.W. Craven. This is book 2 in the Tillian Poe series. I loved book 1, I gave it 4 stars, but it was a strong 4 stars, and everyone is saying that book 2 is even better, so I am so excited to read it. I think I'm going to start it this evening because I'm reading Beth is Dead on my Kindle and I like to have a physical book on the go too. Then I will also be reading Now is the Time for Monsters by A.G. Mock. This is mine and Michaela's in-person book club pick for January. I was also made up because it's included with Prime Reading, so I'm able to read this for free. I don't know what the plot is about, but one of our book club members very sadly passed away, and this was an author that she recommended to another member at book club, so we're reading it to honour Shirley. And the member of book club that has read some of his books has said that he is brilliant, and I've never heard of him, and I always like to find an underdog, underrated author. I've been speaking a lot about Prime Reading and reading books for free. I actually posted quite a while ago a video on 4 ways how you can get free books on your Kindle without having to have Kindle Unlimited, so I've linked that up here if you're interested. And have you had a chance to check out my latest video, You Need to Stop Reading These Books? If not, the link is here. Thank you ever so much for taking your time to watch this video. How was your reading month in December? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you. Bye.